welcome back to the table with me, Bob, on this beautiful Sunday. Spring is certainly springing, at least where I am. So we're enjoying the weather as we get into another wonderful little game. So what are we playing today? We are playing a solo game, as usual. The solo game today is called Stupor Mundi. Stupor Mundi essentially is Wonder of the World. And that was the nickname given to Frederick II, who was a medieval ruler, probably one of the greatest rulers of that time period. There's a lot to be said. You should definitely go Google Frederick II. The Wikipedia page especially talks a lot about everything that went on in his life. He was broadly considered to be the greatest ruler of his time. Did a lot for math and science, did a lot for literacy. He battled a lot with the Holy Roman Church at the time. Was at one point deemed essentially the Antichrist by the church. So there was a lot of contention there. Let's just put it to you that way. But he spent a lot of his time trying to further the kingdom, not just to enrich himself, but to enrich his people, which, hey, great. Obviously, that time period was fraught with privilege and all of that, right? Like that's definitely absolutely part of this time period. But today, what we're doing in this game is we're effectively functioning as one of his vassals. Which is kind of a sublord, right? He's the lord of the kingdom, but then you're kind of helping to run that kingdom as one of, like you run your little part of the kingdom, if you will, in a feudal society. Not freely, obviously. You are serving at the behest of Frederick, but so you want to succeed. You want to enrich yourself. You want to enrich your lands. You want to enrich the people that work and live in your lands. Absolutely. But resources are tight, and Frederick is doing what Frederick wants to do for the kingdom. And sometimes that aligns, sometimes that doesn't necessarily mean you're against Frederick, but you may need to slow Frederick down in his advancement in order to achieve something that you want to achieve in your world. Or you might want to support Frederick in his growth because it benefits you, and you're a huge supporter of what he's trying to do, and you can be enriched along with him, right? Both wealth wise, but also just in society and the things that he's trying to build. So it's a complex world, this medieval feudal world that they lived in. And this game does a really good job of kind of showing that support and or, slowing someone down and their ambitions doesn't necessarily mean you don't agree with them. It just means that needs to be other priorities at certain times. But the game does this in a really elegant way, I think. There's this game. One of the reasons why I was really excited when this game hit the table or hit the doorstep for me recently. I was waiting for this game. I played an early version during the Kickstarter campaign. I loved it then, and I was excited to see how it holds up. And last night I played a version on BGA. You can still play the version on BGA, which I recommend doing, especially if you want to learn this game. And it holds up. But one of the things that really strikes me about this game is the freedom of choice you have. There's no really wrong move. It almost feels a little bit, in that regard, it feels a lot like, hold on a minute. I'll be right back. It feels a lot like, what's the word? Feast for Odin. I forgot my hat. We can't not have the hat. The hat is a key part of this equation. There we go. That's better, right? Everybody agrees. But it feels like a little bit like Feast for Odin that way. If you've ever played that game, you're just buried in choice, and there's no wrong move. You can go any path you want. This is similar. There's a little bit more constraint here, but really only the reality of the situation that you're in is what kind of constrains the choices you should make, but you can do whatever you want. So let's talk about that. Well, we're a vassal of King Frederick II's kingdom, which at the time stretched from Sicily to the south all the way through Germany to the north and everything in between, right? Huge. And what that means is you have your own kingdom, you have your own, it's kind of represented by your keep, which is down here. This is your kind of castle, keep location. It's got walls, got towers, got the center keep itself. And you start out with a couple pieces of it built. And throughout the game, you can spend some time to build your own keep up. And that's what these parts are here on the board, here on this part of the board. It's an action selection game. It's also a deck building game. So you're going to be adding cards to your deck that lets you do better things, but you're always able to make a decision between doing what's on the card that you have in your hand or doing the standard actions that are printed on your player board. And there will be equal time where you're going to want to do the standard actions or you're going to want to do what's on the card. It's not like you start with the standard actions and you're like, okay, those are good for starters, but we're going to get to a point in the game where we're not going to use those. That's not the case with Stupor Mundi. With Stupor Mundi, there's a lot of legitimate reasons to use the standard actions that are printed on the board equally alongside what's in your deck throughout the game. And you'll see that as we play. So down here is kind of the player board with the actions. You play cards underneath your player board. We'll get to what that looks like as we play. We can develop our own estate, our own kingdom, if you will, over here. We can travel around. That's what this section of the board is. We can travel around the kingdom and trade for resources. We can vie for favor with allies and ally ourselves with other notable figures throughout the kingdom to try to get better benefits. Some of them want Frederick to succeed. Other ones want Frederick not to succeed. And so you'll see some of that as we go. This is also where you go to get cards to add to your deck. So you're going to get better abilities. You're going to hire different people that are going to help you in your quest to not only enrich Frederick, but enrich your part of Frederick's kingdom as well. So we have boats. We're going to be sailing around this rondel in the middle of the board. We're going to be conducting trade actions and getting cards and allies, right? That's the goal over here. And now over here is Frederick, kind of Frederick himself, right? You have, as part of your kingdom, you have 3 specialists that essentially get more specialized. They get more skilled the more you level them up. Because again, Frederick wasn't just a enrich myself and screw the world kind of a ruler like we see today. You have this kind of, I need to enrich the people in my kingdom so that they can in turn enrich me. That was kind of how Frederick seemed to think. And so he did a lot for the arts and sciences. So you, as a feudal lord, can take your specialists and progress them through this track of getting them more and more skilled. What that means mechanically is that for every stop along this path from left to right across this board, you will gain a special ability while one of your specialists are on that location. When you move them on, you lose the ability that they were on and you gain whatever they landed on. So your special abilities will be changing throughout the game, but it's your choice. They only ever move because you want them to move. So if you want them to stay where they are, they stay where they are for the rest of the game. And at the very last step over here, you get kind of a one-time, big-time bonus benefit. And it's first come, first serve over here. So if I spend a lot of time progressing my specialists, I can get that benefit at the end. Now, in a multiplayer game, there will be more of these. These stacks will be taller so that there'll be more opportunities for you to get your own special benefits. But in a one-player game, every one of these spots, these 4 spots, just has 1 tile in them. So let's see. All right. Okay. So the north side of this board, the top side of the board over here is Frederick himself. This is Frederick's world. This is where he lives and operates. So he's got some amount of stone and wheat, basically the resources of the game. He's got some amount of money at the time. He's got a certain amount of allies of his own at his level. that can grow and shrink over time. You'll have his kingdom, which is represented by his palace. This will grow and shrink. In other words, it basically, how do I put this? The kingdom will grow and contract in size and scale. And that is represented by the palace growing and shrinking. So parts of the palace will be added or subtracted throughout the game. And that is conducted through these edicts over here. In fact, there's 3 active edicts on top right now. They start that way. And then you have a selection of 3 that are kind of waiting in the wings. So every time you complete one of those or one of them gets activated, then that gets refilled by one of the 3 down here. So the bot that you're playing against is also going to be enacting edicts, and they will be pulling from the same supply. So you can kind of see how things are going to move around a little bit. Edicts are a way for us as feudal lords to influence how much resources Frederick has at any given time. He'll have more or less stone and wheat. He'll have more or less kingdom pieces or palace pieces on his palace. He'll have more or less money, allies, and so on. And whenever time we enact an edict, that's where we go over here to manipulate that for our benefit usually. The race is about how does the game end, right? The race is really about the pile of edicts, the stack of edicts tiles. If those run out and you can never refill one of these top 3 edict spots, that triggers the end of the game, and then you play the final round and the game is over. If one of us completes every part of our keep, the game is triggered the same way. You play the last round and the game is over. So that, I think, about covers it. I'll go over the mechanics of all of this as we play, but I don't want to belabor the point. The game can get fairly long. But I'll start off by saying that while this thing has like a 3 out of 5 star complexity rating on BGG, and there is a lot of decision space, I grant you that, is so thematically integrated, again, there's that phrase for me, that I really think it sings. How do I put this? It's so easy to just pick it up and play it. The turns are super quick, as you'll see. So let's get into it, right? Let's just start playing. I know that was a really high overview. I didn't really talk mechanics, but I don't think I really need to. The iconography I'll cover as I play. So I start first. I don't think I ever not go first. In fact, I'm very confident in that. Again, I'm just still learning the mechanics of the game, because when you play the game on BGG, I should mention that it does all of the mechanical shifting for you. So I'm going to have to look up and learn the first round or two, how things progress. But after that, I think it'll cook along just fine. But the turns are fast. So what do I want to do? Well, let's take a look. The very first thing we do on every one of our turns is decide whether or not we want to travel. So let's take a close look at this board, at this travel board here. We are going to look at this, and we start out in Roma, and then we travel around to like Byzantium, Alexandria, and so on. Tunis, I believe. Tunis, and Barcelona. So I am playing green, and Frederick is playing yellow. Frederick was always playing yellow. And so if I stay here, by the way, these tiles in the center, these are the trading tiles. This is like if you sell these goods, then get this. If you and so on. Those types of standard trading activities. These tiles are randomized, and they're randomized front to back and where they land on the board. So front to back meaning complexity or expertise, really. If you want to play a simpler game, play with more blue. If you want to play a more complex game, play with red. So those are shuffled and randomized every game. At Roma, for this game, it is if you sell 2 stone, you get $7. Or if you buy wheat, you can spend 4 to get 2 wheat in Roma. I start the game, and you can't see that on my player board, but I'll pop over to the player board. I start the game with 1 stone and 1 wheat, as does Frederick. So back to here, if I look where I'm at, there's a reason I might want stone and wheat. Mostly it's about completing stuff on your estate, getting your walls built, your towers built, your keep built. But you're also going to spend wheat on getting allies. That's why you'll see like red numbers underneath these ally spots, because those are spending wheat to ally yourself with one of these people. So I need resources. I start the game with $6. Let's see. Well, if I ally myself right now, it would cost 3 wheat to ally myself with this nun here. Then, and this is where I'm going to need the rule book because of the iconography. I'm pretty sure what that means is, yeah, okay. So, right. Yeah, give 2 victory point bonus if your castle has more structures than Frederick's. So she wants me, because she's aligned with the church, right? She wants me to be more prosperous than Frederick does, than Frederick is, because she doesn't like Frederick. The church doesn't like Frederick, and they want to see the individual states have more control. So she's trying to get me to kind of do more than Frederick. So I can ally there if I feel like I'm going to be outbuilding Frederick. He starts with 5 pieces. I start with 2. So I'm already behind the curve if I want to ally myself with her. Over here, this person says have more towers. So a subset, right? This one's like any number of pieces, but this one is specifically towers. So this one says have more allies than Frederick. Okay, I have 0 allies. I can only really have 1 ally right now, and he starts with 2. This is, let's see, I believe that is make sure Frederick's specialists are out in front of yours. Let's see. Oh no, other way around. If your specialist, so if I have better specialists than Frederick does, then I would get more victory points at the end of every round for having him as an ally. And that's true for all these, by the way. Any ally you have always scores you 1 victory point at the end of every round, and then they give you 2 additional victory points as a bonus if you meet their specific requirements. So they're always worth something. It's always good to have, but they're way better, and you want to have those allies because it's a good way to generate victory points throughout the game, not just at the end of the game. So this one is have more money than Frederick. Okay. So everybody wants me to have more than Frederick does. All right. We're going to see more specialists throughout the game. So we'll see. I don't think I really want to align myself with a specialist right now. I could instead get a special card here. If I spend $1, I can spend up to $3 to get 3 wheat if I play that card. That's the card that's up here right now. It costs $2 to buy that card. Would be nice early on to be able to, but that would mean I'd have to make a lot of money. I like this card over here. This one's in Byzantium right now, which is every time I play this card, I would get a stone and conduct a trade. So rather than just conducting a trade action, which is one of the standard actions you can take, this one says, well, also get a stone, which is great because now I don't have to spend a card to get a stone, right? I get a stone and combine that with a trade action. And trading is something you do fairly regularly in this game. Speaking of which, this is my starting deck of cards. I'm going to shuffle this up, and I get to draw 5 of those as my starting hand. I didn't do that until the start of this stream because I wanted to experience it live with all of you, but 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's pop over to my player board here, and we'll see. I have these 5 cards available to me. So what do I want to do? Oh, look at that. Okay, so if I look at these cards, here's an example. So this is a starting card. This is just a play this card, get 1 stone, right? And this is a starting card for my player color, or my banner, which is this green and yellow banner. play this card, get a stone. Okay, very simple. There's this card here, which is play this card and draw 4 more cards. You'll find out as we play that while that is helpful to draw more cards, it just means you have better choices, but it doesn't necessarily mean you can take more actions, because you can only ever take up to 6 actions every round. And then you're out of room to play cards. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. Just like that other card, this is just play this card, get 1 wheat, right? And this is probably the more complex of the cards that I have. And this is a special card that I have access to that nobody else does, because it's just a special card that I do. So let's take a look at that one, because that's not a card that looks familiar to me. There we go. Oh, there it is. Gain 1 victory point for each step Frederick's specialist has taken along the path in the workplace area. Maximum of 3 victory points. Promote 1 of your specialists. So what that, it's weird because that kind of suggests it's either or, but it's both. So when I play this card, I want him to have his specialist be at least 3 steps forward on his track. And if I can do that and keep him there, then every time I play this card, I'll make 3 victory points, just straight up. And I get to promote 1 of my own. So in other words, when Frederick succeeds, we all succeed. So my specialist gets to promote because his is doing well. So those are the 5 cards that I start with. Can you see? Is it focused? I think it is. Okay, great. I start with those. So let's decide what we want to do. Well, drawing cards right now, fine. Here's the thing. If I come back to the travel board and I look, if I want to get this card where I get a stone and conduct a trade action, the cost of this, let me put this on the screen. The cost of this card is to banish 1 card or discard one of the, not discard, remove 1 card from my deck. So in other words, I'm swapping out this card. I'm going to make sure I'm right. The iconography sometimes can lie to you, and I don't want it to. I want to make sure I'm right. Of course, this iconography on the back doesn't have that 1 icon. So now it's going to make me flip through the book. But that's okay. This is the book is really well organized. So it shouldn't take me long to find the answer, I hope. I'm just trying to find the section where you actually get a card. There it is. Okay. The removal of 1 of your action cards from the game, either from your hand or discard pile, but not from your draw pile. Okay, cool. All right, so I am right. It is a removal of the card from the game. But there's some cards where, like, for example, I have, let's take this card. This is a starting card. Why would I need that card? Why wouldn't I always want to play that card? Maybe because I don't want to conduct a trade, but okay, so fine. Worst case, I don't conduct the trade. I can choose not to. It's a waste of an action, but like, there's no reason why I need both of those cards, and I happen to have one of these in my hand. So I think we're going to go for this card. I think we're going to go for that card. So yeah, I get to travel 1 space for free, and then after that, it costs me a gold to continue traveling. For each step along my journey, it's 1 gold. Or Augustarians? Is that the name of this thing? Let's see. Augustalis. That's the name of the currency. I'm just going to say coin or money or gold. So it costs me $1 to continue traveling. I get 1 spot for free. So going here doesn't cost me any movement. The reason I might want to stay is that the trading in that area might be good. It is good, but I don't have a lot of stone and I don't intend to trade for money this early. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ship. I'm going to travel 1 step. So I've traveled 1 step and now I am in Byzantium. And so now I get to take my standard action for the game, for this round. And so let's pop over to my player board and take a look. What we want to do is we want to get a card. Well, if we look at my player board, I've got standard actions written between the card slots. This is another reason I love this game, and we'll get into the detail. You'll see why in just a second. But this 6th spot over here is currently locked. I will be able to unlock it by building a certain type of building in my estate, in my kingdom. But I haven't done that yet, early game. So right now I can only play these 5 slots, not the 6th one, which means I can only get 1 card per round right now. If later I want to get a 2nd card every round, just because I'm really just building my deck hard, I would need to get this building built, and then I could play cards in both these slots. So let's show you what I'm talking about. So this first one over here is Promote a Specialist. That's advanced on the track over here. This one is Conduct a Trade Action in your current location. This one is Build something in your estate, in your kingdom. This is Gain a new ally if you can afford it. And then here it is Gain a card, again, if you can pay for it. So what do I want to do? Well, we just talked about gaining a card, and that's what I want to do. I want to gain a card. So I'm going to play one of these. This card is, again, this like draw 4 more cards. I don't really want to spend time drawing more cards this game. So instead of playing it face up to take this action, I'm going to play it face down. And when you slot the card into this board, you'll see the spears on the back of the card are pointing to one of these two, to both of these locations. There's a special ability I can get later, which you bet your butt I'm going to be like really gunning for, which is to be able to execute both of the standard actions on 1 card play. But as it is, when you start the game, you can only do one of the 2. So I can either get an ally or I can get a new card. I'm choosing to get a new card. So let's take a look. Well, get a new card. If we come back to the travel board over here, this is the card I can get from one of these 2 spots. Well, because it's a solo game, these spots, the 2nd spot is always disabled. So there's only ever 1 card per location. And I'm going to this card. So I'm going to take this card and I'm going to pay the cost. The cost is to get rid of a card from the game. Well, I put that down for a moment and I look at my hand. Well, my remaining cards in my hand, I don't have a discard. So the remaining cards in my hands are these. We just talked about this becoming redundant. So this is the card I'm going to eliminate. So that card is going to leave the game, and in its place, we'll get my new card. Here's another cool thing. When you get a new card, you get to execute that card right away. And then the card stays in your hand, and if you want to, you can play it again on the same round. So buying the card gives you that ability to conduct that ability right away. So let's do that. I get 1 stone. So I take a stone from the supply and I put it in my last remaining storage location. I start the game with 3 storage, and I already start with 2 resources. That leaves me with 1 open slot, which I've just filled. So I can conduct a trade. Do I want to conduct a trade? Well, if I look on the board, in my current location of Byzantium, I can conduct one of 2 different kinds of trades. I can trade 2 stone for $8, $8, or I can conduct a trade for spend $2 to buy 2 wheat. I can't do that trade. I don't have any place to store it. I'm full up on storage right now. So the only trade I can conduct if I want to is sell 2 stone for $8. I start with $6, so I could make a lot of money right now. But why would I not want to? Well, they're resources. So let's find out what I would be spending those resources on. This is my kingdom, and it's represented by my castle, right? Everything here requires some amount of stone. There's ways to get discounts on certain things, as you'll see as we play, but as it stands, I'm paying it outright. You can only build adjacent to things where you already have a structure built, because you start with a wall and a tower. I can build these 2 towers or these 2 walls. Or I can always build one of my keep sections if I so choose. But you'll notice the costs are like 3 stone, 4 stone, 3 stone and a wheat. I have 2 stone and a wheat right now. I can't afford to build any of those, even if I wanted to. So that leaves me with this wall, or this tower. And I can't build that tower because it costs 3. So what do I get for it? Well, if I build this tower, then I'm set up to be able to build this wall, because I can't build this wall early. I have to have a join something, right? So if I build this wall, I get 1 wheat at the start of every round. Pretty certain about it. I could be wrong, but I could be. Let's double check. I think that's what that means. But now that I'm thinking about it, I could be wrong. Income step. Yeah, I know. Okay, let's go to the keep because I want to make sure I get this right. I don't want to get it wrong. Castle income. Yeah, you immediately gain the bonus. Okay, great. Yeah, perfect. So if I build this wall, then I gain a wheat at the start of every round. If I build this wall, I gain a stone at the end of every round. If I build this wall, then I gain a victory point. And if I build this wall, I get to conduct a trade action wherever I'm currently located at the end of every round for free, bonus. But again, I can't build these 2 walls unless I have these towers built or unless I build all the way up from the bottom over here. So that's going to take a long time to get that done. So I might want to prepare and just build this tower, or I might want to start getting victory points like right away. Doesn't sound like a bad idea. Or I could make money, save the wheat, and then promote one of my specialists. But right away, I don't really need to spend any wheat to do that. There are certain steps along the specialist journey on this board over here that cost wheat in order to progress, but I don't need to do that right now. I'll get more wheat before I get to that spot. I could build this one, conduct a trade action for free every time, but that assumes I have the resources to do the trade, which I won't always have. Victory point seems pretty good. On the other hand, so does this tower, because then I can set myself up to getting this done. That's tough. I think I'm going to go victory point. I'm going to build this. So that's our plan. We did our trade, though. That's all we did. So our plan is to get this wall built. Can't do it this turn, though. We took our action. We got our card. And we decided not to conduct the trade. That's what we were deciding. We're not going to conduct this trade. We're going to skip it for now. Cool. My turn is over. Now it is Frederick's, not Frederick's, I forget who I'm playing against, but I'm playing against the bot, the bot's first turn. It is Frederick, actually. And so we are going to play, and I will pop over here. You can kind of see that. I'll see if I can scoot him up a little so you can. Can you see that? You can. Cool. All right. So this is his first turn. He's choosing not to move his boat. And if I recall, he's not going to take the card either. Again, this is just coming back to symbology. Make sure. No, he's going to remove. Okay. Okay, so he is going to remove the card. He's going to stay where he's at, and he's going to remove the card. Cool. Let's make sure I have the solo reference here. Yeah. Do not move and remove. Yep, okay, cool. So if we look on the board, which we have, the yellow ship, which is Frederick, he's going to take this card and remove it out of the game. Okay. It's a good thing I didn't want that card. That's his whole turn. That's it. Back to me. Now I get to decide, do I want to move again? Well, I don't have a card I can pick up. I do have an ally I can recruit, but it would require 3 wheat, and I don't have that. I have 1 wheat, and I'm going to use it in a moment. So maybe I want to move. The hazard with moving is that Frederick will once in a while want to follow you, and if he follows you, then he could take cards you're interested in. So your instinct might be to move and get to a location because you want to get one of these resources. But if he follows you, and then decides to take a card, then he's going to end up taking the thing you want. So you want to move, ideally, on the turn you actually want to take the action. But then again, you might want to travel to a far distance. So you might want to just take a moment to step your way over there. So I don't know. Let's take a look. This is an interesting card. Frederick gets a tower, is what that tells me. And then I get a stone and 2 money. That's an interesting card. I don't think I've ever seen that card. Do I have the reference? I think I do. I want to look at that card, see if that is a card I can use. Let's see. A20, right? Okay. A20 says, add or remove a tower from Frederick's castle, gain 1 stone, gain 2 money. Okay, so that's what I thought. Huh. This card over here says, get a wheat and advance a specialist. I like that card. So let's travel one. Let's step here. That means we're set up to be able to travel 1 step and get this card. I like this card. The same card exists over here, by the way. It's just, it costs a little bit more money and it gives me another stone. So that's not a bad thing to have. But I don't, in truth, care much if this card gets taken from me or this ally gets taken from me. So if he follows me this turn, I don't care. I mean, it would be nice to have either one of those. Sure, everything here is good. But for what I'm looking at, what I'm trying to do, not really. So the trades in this location are trade a pair of resources, wheat and stone. And if you trade a pair, you get $7. You can also conduct, in the same trade action, spend $3 to buy them back. You see where this is going? So you make $4. You get the same resources back, but you make $4 if you conduct a trade here. I don't really need the cash. And I don't want to spend the time to do a trade action, but if I got a free trade action here, I wouldn't be mad about it. I need to build a wall. And I need to build a wall because I need more storage. That's the other thing I should mention. On the player boards, let's take a look. On the player boards, your storage capacity is being partially taken up by the walls of your castle. So the more walls you build, the more storage you have. Because, I don't know if you knew this, but when castles built walls, that's what they primarily used to store their goods. They had storage capacity within the walls, so that's what they used them for. So this is thematically kind of appropriate, right? The more walls you build in your keep or your castle, the more storage capacity you have. So I need to get a wall built so I can get more storage. So what I desperately want to do is I want to save up my resources to be able to build the keep, but I need more storage to do it. Because the keep gives me lasting benefits that I get for the rest of the game. So the faster I get some of those built, the more room to breathe I have, the more flexibility I have when taking actions. But I got to get that at least 1 more wall built before I can do that. So I think we're going to build here. What do we want to do in order to build? Well, I don't want to draw cards. I kind of like where I'm at. So I like the cards that I have. You can't see those, can you? Oh, you can. Great. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this card. And I'm going to flip it over. And now I'm not going to get an ally this turn anyway. So my choice by playing it here is between an ally and building. And I'm going to choose build. So I'm going to build a wall. We talked about that. So we are going, you saw my player board, I have 2 stone and a wheat. That's going to be important in a moment. So I'm going to look at my castle for a moment. And I'm going to build this wall like we talked about. The cost is 2 stone and a wheat, exactly what I have. So I'm going to take my 2 stone and a wheat, and I'm going to put that back on the supply. And now in turn, I'm going to build my first wall. Now, just because this is the first time building anything, I'll come back to my player board and show it. The first 2 walls here don't cost anything additional. The second 2 walls do have a cost. You get a benefit as well, like a one-time thing that happens when you do them. But unless you want to spend the money, you can't really build these last 2 walls. The crucial thing, though, is that unlike these kinds of games normally, I'm not building these things in order. So if I wanted to right now, I could spend $4 and build that wall. That's perfectly legal, even though it's not in order. It doesn't matter. I could build this wall instead, get this benefit, spend $4, and you still get the storage. But I'm not going to do that. I'm saving my money right now for trades and other things. The game is early. So I am going to play this first wall, but not because I have to. So now back to me here. So I'm going to build this wall. This is where I spent the resources. So I'm going to build this wall here. And there we go. Wall is now in place. Make sure it's not going to impede things later. Good. Great. So now at the end of the round, I will get 1 victory point. Very cool. That's it. The end. I now have extra storage. I now have no resources. That's okay. Let's see what he does. Back to here. He is going to move his ship, and he is coming to join me, and I knew he was going to. So he's moving to me in Alexandria. Now, one of the things is some of these cards have little crowns on top. When you draw the second card, you resolve it, and then the second card with a crown on it, I should say. When you draw the second card with a crown on it, then you resolve that card and then immediately shuffle up the deck. What's really cool about that system is now you can't exactly predict which of the cards in his deck are going to come out at any given time, because it all depends on how many crowns has already been dealt out in his deck throughout his draws. So I have to be kind of aware at any given point that reshuffle could be coming, which means I might see some of those cards again. One crowd is already out. Well, he moved to me, but he didn't do anything else. He didn't take a card. He didn't take an ally. So he just moved over to me. Okay, great. And that's the end of his turn. Back to me. What do I want to do now? Well, I need resources, right? I could play this to get a wheat and then go let him go, then play this to get a stone and then conduct a trade, which would let me get more money. Or I could conduct a trade now and buy a stone and a wheat for $3. That's a possibility. That's something I can do. If I do that, I could play this souped up card that gives me a stone in the process, and I would end up with 2 stone and a wheat again. Well, that means I could build again. I could build this tower over here. I could build this wall right here, get more storage space. That doesn't suck either, because then I can conduct a trade for free at the end of every round. I can set myself up to conduct a trade for free at the end of every round so that I'm always doing that. Need the stone. I desperately need the stone. So what I could do is move for free. But if I move for free, I want this card. You can't see it. I want this card right here because it lets me promote my, or advance my specialist while also giving me a wheat. Good card. Do I risk it though? I don't know that I want to spend $2 right now. I have $6 and I'm going to need those $6 for the trade I want to conduct. So what? I think I'm going to go ahead and ignore this card for the moment and see if he takes it. I am going to travel 1 for free. That's okay. And instead, I'm going to conduct a trade action. And I'm going to do that by playing this advanced card that we got. And I'm going to play that in this slot, which would normally be either advance a specialist or trade. And because I'm playing for the card, I'm playing it face up, and I'm just taking this action, which means I get to take a stone. I have 1 stone, and I get to conduct a trade action. Well, let's take a look at where I'm at. Trade actions here are sell 2 wheat and get $6, or spend $6 and get 2 stone. In essence, if you show up here with 2 wheat, you can convert them to stone for free, because you get to conduct both trade actions in one shot if you want to. In this case, I just want to buy 2 stone. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend my $6 and I'm going to buy 2 stone. Now I have 3 stone. That's the end of my turn, so he goes again. He is moving 1 step, so he comes to me, and he's conducting an edict. So he's performing an edict, our first edict of the game. So if you, let me see, can you see that? I think you can. I'll double check. You can, that's cool. Down here in the right corner, you'll see that he's performing edict number 2. So if we look over here on this column, they're numbered 1, 2, and 3. So this is what he's conducting. Whenever he conducts an edict on himself, it's always for his benefit. It's always for his gain. So what that says is gain 1 wheat and gain 2 stone. Okay, so he has now completed that. I'll remove that from the game. And whenever he takes an edict, he takes the corresponding edict from the section down, from the refill section down here. So because he took 2, he's taking the second tile, and that's what he refills with. Okay. Troublesome. Okay, I'm going to build again, because I can. I have 3 stone. I am going to build, I need a 4th stone is what I really need. I'm not going to build again. Don't have any money. I could, ooh, I like that. Okay, I was going to advance a specialist, and I really kind of should, but I'm not going to this round. It's my turn, so we're going to come back to here so you can see this. I'm going to advance 1 step for free, as I get to do every round. And I'm going to play this card. This card is my get a wheat card. So I'm going to play that here, and I'm just going to get a wheat. That's the end of my turn. My last storage space. Okay. Now he goes. And he's going to advance his ship 1 space and take the card. That's a bummer. I really wanted that card, but it is what it is. So this card goes away. Okay, more cards coming out. It's fine. So what am I going to do? Okay, my last turn is conducting a trade. So we're going to come back to here. And my last card is this whole like advance your, get victory points and advance your guy. I was going to play that card for what it is, but I really want to conduct a trade. So I'm going to play it as a generic action instead. And I'm going to take the trade action. So I have 1 wheat. If I come back to the ship, the travel board here, I have 1 wheat, and in this location, 1 wheat sells for $4. So I'm gonna sell a wheat for $4. And then, without skipping a beat, here's my $4 for the second trade action at this location, which I can take for free as part of the trade action. I can spend $1 to buy 1 stone. So of the 4 that I just earned, I spent 1, and I gain a 4th stone. Okay, it is the end of the round for me because I have no more cards and I have no more ability to draw more cards and I have no more slots on my player board with which to play cards. So for me, it is the end of the round now. So because it's the first time I've progressed to the end of a round, as I typically will do, I am going to use the rule book to explain to me all of the steps because I don't want to mess up every single end of round for the whole game. So forgive me for a moment while I step through that, because I really just don't want to mess around here. End phase. Oh, there it is. Handy. Let's make sure there's nothing specific to the solo game at the end phase. How to play. Yeah, okay. Got it. Yep. Cool. Okay. So I'll just follow it normally. I discard all played cards from below the player board. So that's step 1. So all those cards are now considered discarded. Got it. I can also, if I have cards left in my hand, I can choose to discard them if I want to. And then draw cards up to my hand limit. At the moment, my hand limit is 5. I haven't done anything to unlock a larger hand size, but I can. So those are my 4 cards, or 5 cards, rather. And what do we have? Well, play it, get $3, spend 2 stone to build a tower, get a wheat, get $3 again, and get a stone. Okay, I want to try to see if I can't annex a few of these smaller cards later and get more powerful cards in their place. But for now, that's what we have to work with. Okay, did that. Okay, castle income. You receive the income from each closed side of your castle. Oh, I don't actually get that benefit yet. A closed side of your castle consists of 2 towers connected by a wall. So I don't get this victory point yet, and I don't get this benefit yet either, because I don't have towers flanking those walls. So no income yet. Each ally produces 1 victory point. I have no allies. Okay. Reorganize. Refill empty action card spaces. Okay, I can do that. Let's come back to the travel board so you can see. This is an empty space, so we'll refill that. This card deck, by the way, is also randomized every game, so it's never the same set of cards in the same order, which is cool. There is an A deck and a B deck, and the bottom half of that deck is B cards. So just know, construction-wise, you're going to have kind of like early game and late game cards as well. Okay. So what came out? We have have 3 or more wheat in your possession when you play this card, and if you do, you get $8. This says, I believe, draw 4 more cards and advance one of your specialists. Both of them require us to annex other cards out of our hand, by the way, or out of our deck, which is good because I want to prune some of these easier cards, or like these less useful cards. I do have one of these like draw 4 cards in my discard, and I could banish that card and instead get a combo card. So if I wanted to progress as specialist anyway, might as well get 4 more cards while I'm at it. And then this one is exchange an ally. Ooh, that's good. I like that card. I have to spend $3 to buy that card. But what I like that card for is because if you get an ally normally and you don't have that card, you're stuck with that ally. And if for whatever reason, Frederick is just kicking your ass on that goal, whatever that is, you're never going to get the bonus victory points for it. That card lets you cycle out an ally for one in your current location. That's a powerful card. I might want to run over there and get that card just because. I'm tempted, really. How many actions do I want to waste to do it, though? I don't know. I have 4 stones, so I definitely want to build. And you'll understand why in a minute. So maybe I move 1 step now and then build, and then move another step the next turn and get a card. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so it's my turn. I get to advance. So I'm going to advance 1 step. And then I'm not going to worry about where I'm at. I don't care. Because what I'm here to do is build. And I'm going to build a keep this round. So I'm going to take one of these like get $3 cards, and I'm going to play it for its generic side. I'm going to play it over here to get a new card. Am I? No, I'm not. I'm not going to play it there for that. I'm going to play it over here to build. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm still not going to worry about an ally yet. I'm going to build. I'm saving my trade spots because I need the flexibility. But for now, I'm going to play it for its build action. And the only reason I'm not playing this build card that I have, you can't see any of that. But the only reason I'm not playing this build card right now is because I don't want to build a tower. I want to build a keep. a piece of my keep. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm playing this as a generic build card instead to take the generic build action. So now let's look at my castle. What I'm going for is this location here. Now, I have $3. This just costs 4 stone, and I get to enact an edict. So let's look at my player board for a moment, because I've never built a keep piece yet. These 2 pieces of keep don't cost anything to build. This is like the great keep. And this costs $4, but I also get a special benefit when I build it. I don't have $4, so I can't build this even if I wanted to, but it's okay. For this first one, I don't really care. I'm going to build that first keep piece. So there's no benefit for building that other than the piece itself. So back to the castle. So castle is, I'm going to build this spot. Cost me $4 or four stone. So I'm going to take the 4 stone out of my inventory, and I'm going to put it, I'm going to take this tile as a reminder. There's a little tile that's inset here. So that tile comes out and my piece comes in. So what did I just get? Well, back to my player board and I'll explain it. First and foremost, I get to flip that over first of all. Yeah, did I get that right? I did. Cool. So this is the benefit that I gain for the rest of the game now. And I got that for spending those 4 stone to build that piece of the keep. This says anytime I take a generic action like one of these, where the spears point at these locations, I now get to do both actions instead of just one. So now this action becomes twice as powerful for the rest of the game, and I'm allowed to do that. Now, the other players around the table, if you're playing in a multiplayer game, they will also be able to take these exact same tiles and get these exact same benefits. So they're not asymmetric. But it is asymmetric in that they may go for other things and prioritize different things at different times. Okay. So objective number 1 is complete because I now can use double actions for the rest of the game. I want this other one over here that lets me have a 6th card action. But, oh, right. I should mention, I forgot that when you build this location, you also get to enact an edict. So here's how edicts work when I conduct them. You can't see the top edict, can you? Why not? Let's bump this down so you can. Or up, rather. Okay. I think that's okay. I think you can still see the bottom. Yeah, you can. Great. Okay, so the top here, let's see. Now, I get the choice. I can enact any one of these 3. If I enact the top one, I get $3, and then the stuff that's on the edict tile happens. If I use the second one instead, I get either one of these types of resources, and then the stuff on the card happens. And then here, I get a victory point and a buck, and then the stuff on the tile happens. Oh, and I forgot to refill from the last time he did an edict, so I'll refill from the top of the draw pile. Okay, so now we know what's coming. He looks like he's going to get a lot of towers built. That's troublesome for me. Well, knowing that, maybe I want to slow down his keep building capabilities, or his palace, rather. I could kind of slow him down and make him spend more time building his palace. He has a lot of stone and a lot of wheat, so I could knock him down partly. I need the money right now, actually. I could use the resources too, though. I could use the stone. And there's no harm in saying, taking this one just for the stone and then getting rid of all that stuff that he's got. Slow him down that way. The only reason why I want to slow him down, like this character that I'm playing, this particular set of cards, doesn't necessarily want him to not succeed. So, but what I'm really worried about is guarding against him building and completing his palace before I have a chance to get enough victory points to win the game. So I'm just regulating his speed right now by doing it. My discards, though, let's take a look. Oh, this one was about his advancing his specialist. So None of those are talking about, manipulating his specialists either way. So maybe I will. Maybe I'll just take the. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll stop debating endlessly here. We're going to take the second one because we're in a build mode, so getting the resources will help. So if we look at that edict tile, it says he can either gain or lose a keep piece. I'm going to make him lose a keep piece. So we're going to remove the first keep, and that goes back into storage. He's already got 3 stone. I'm going to make him lose a stone, not gain a stone. I get the choice, though. And it says he can either gain or lose an ally. Well, he's got 2. I'm going to make him lose 1. So 1 comes off. Okay. So I basically just messed him up. I basically slowed him down quite a lot with that edict. So with that, I get to choose which of the edicts to refill with. Remember that he can always, his cards, he can always enact an edict on his own. So I have to be careful with that. Because I slowed him down a little bit, I'm going to make him get more allies and only 1 tower if he decides to enact that one. So the benefit, though, for taking that tile spot is I get a stone or a wheat, my choice. Well, what do I want to do? I want to build that other keep. So I'm going to get a stone. That goes in my storage location. So now on my board, I now have 4 storage, of course, and 1 stone for enacting that edict. Okay, end of my turn. He goes. He's coming to meet me, so he's going to come over here, but he does nothing else. Okay, back to me. Now, do I want to travel? I do, because I want that card. We talked about that. So we're going to travel 1 for free. And we are going to get that card. That card is $3. So in order to do that, we are going to take this $3 card and we are going to get a card. But remember, I can do both of these now. Unfortunately, I don't have the resources to align myself with this person. That would require 3 wheat, and I don't have it. I could spend the wheat, do a trade action first, and then spend the wheat and do all that. I could do that. But I want to spend the money on the cards instead. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ignore this ally. Can't take advantage of that this time. But I am going to take this, get a card. This card costs $3. I have $3 exactly, so I'm going to spend $3. Card comes into my hand, remember. Now, this would normally let me swap allies. I don't have any allies to swap, so I can't use this card right now. That's okay. I wanted to protect this card from being stolen by Frederick. This was a protection move, a defense move to make sure I have access to this card for later. That's the end of my turn. His turn. Okay, and just like that, as I talked about, he gets to do an edict, and he chose to do the edict that I just refilled. So he's not going to move. He's going to stay where he's at, and he is going to he's going to take care of this edict. So he's going to give himself a tower. Doesn't matter which one, so he's just going to get that one. He gets a tower, and he gets 2 allies. So he went down to 1 ally, and now he's back up to 3. Okay, that was his edict. Now and the one that I refilled from before did not get refilled. So he's now taking the second one. So he took the second one on the refill, and that comes back out too. Great. Okay. Okay. Frederick still hasn't reshuffled. That second crown is in there somewhere. What am I going to do? Well, I have the card that I want. I don't have any money, and I only have 1 stone. So Okay, we're going to do some trading, I think, for the rest of this round. We are going to play this card for, we're going to play this card for face value, which is just give me 1 stone. We're going to play it there, so I get 1 stone. End of turn. Frederick goes, and he is not going to move, and he's going to enact edict number 1. Edict number 1 is a stone, or sorry, a tower, a wall, and one of his keeps. So he's basically rebuilding all the things that I just took from him a moment ago. So we are going to rebuild all of this. Cool. He's about half done now. So that comes away, and then he refills with that, which is another big construction one. Yikes. Okay. And then he refills. I got to keep him from finishing his stuff so I can keep playing here. Okay, I have that now. Back to me. I get to travel if I want to. I'm not going to travel because I like the trading here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to conduct a trade action now. We're going to use this card I can't use anyway, and we're going to conduct a trade action with it. Yeah. Now, here's the cool part. Because this is the card I just placed, and because I have my special ability, I can now advance a specialist and do the trade action. Let's do the trade action first. It's more straightforward. On the player board, at the travel board rather, in this location, I can sell 2 stone for $8. So that's the first trade I'm going to do. I'm going to take the 2 stone that I have, and I'm going to sell it for $8. I need that stone, but I need the money too. So, and then for the second trade, I'm going to spend $2 to buy 2 wheat. Am I? Am I going to do that? Maybe. Maybe I am. Debating whether I want to do that. I can buy the wheat. There's no problem in buying the wheat. I'm debating what I would use it for. That's all. Could build that tower. $2 for 2 wheat, or just hold on to the money. I don't know. It's here, and I could buy an ally with it, which is not a bad thing. I should anyway, because I need the victory points. I haven't earned a single one yet. I don't have an ally, so yeah, let's do the trade for the wheat. So $2 for the wheat is the second trade I can do here. Okay. Okay. And that was my trade. Now, the second action I can take is advancing a specialist. This is the first time we've advanced a specialist in the game, so let's walk through it. All of my specialists start out over here in this little holding area. They have no abilities whatsoever at this time. I can advance along this top row, I can advance along the second row, or I can advance along the third row. The second row is faster. You can get to this end quicker because there's nothing here. You just advance straight through it. If I'm here and I take an advanced specialist roll, I would advance straight to the top. That's why it costs 2 wheat to advance here. Now, why would I want to do that? Well, the first step is every time you gain an ally, you also gain a stone. This one, if you spend the wheat to get here later, is you discard 1 card. If I'm reading that right, you discard 1 card to gain a buck and draw another card. And you can do that once per round, for as long as your specialist sits on that location. And then here, it's a one-time benefit, $6 and 3 resources of your choosing. The first player to advance to this location also gets to enact an edict. That's what this little tile means. I have the wheat. I could advance here. But how often am I getting allies? Not very often. I have spot for one ally right now. This one down here, I can advance right now without spending any wheat. That's free. And I get an additional movement. So my ship moves faster. The specialist is a better sailor, basically. This one also I can advance for free. Every time I gain a card, I spend less money to do it. I'm pretty sure that's what that means. Let's get the card reference out and just double check I'm right, or the tile reference rather. Yeah, when you purchase an action card, you get a $2 discount. Cool. That's nice because cards are sometimes expensive. So I can get cards for free, basically. Not all of them, some of them, but so that wouldn't be bad. And now I have to look down the road, right? If I get here and I later want to advance, I could get money every time I build towers. Well, I have 4 more towers to build. So that'd be $16 over the course of the game for as long as my specialist sits there. And then I get a forked path. I get to choose which direction I'm going. And over here, if I advance, I get $2 every time I build something in my palace or in my castle. This lets me have better choices when enacting edicts. This lets me earn victory points at the end of every round for every 4 castle parts I have in my castle. And this lets me build 1 portion of my keep for free. There's an asterisk star next to that, which I'll get to if I end up getting the tile. But I like the movement initially. I do have towers I can build, so that's not a bad thing. This fast track is nice, but I don't really feel like spending the wheat on it. Getting free cards, that's not a bad thing. I have to spend the actions to get cards, though. It's early game, though, so why wouldn't I? You know, I think I'm going to go with this top route. I like this top route. There's just a lot of good stuff on it. So we're going to advance our specialist here. And so now I get $2 discounts on all my cards. Cool. That's the end of my turn. Frederick goes. Still no second castle. He gets to advance his boat once, and he's taking care of an edict. You can't see. Oh, you can see. That's fine. Kind of, sort of. No, you couldn't see it. He's on the same location as me, as Byzantium, and he's enacting edict number 3. So edict number 3 is gain a castle, or a keep, rather, a keep space. So he gains a keep, and gain 1 of each resource. So number 3 comes off. And don't forget, the edicts are the timer in the game. So every time he does one, he's ticking the clock down. As well. Just going to make that look a little bit better. Okay. That's good. Now I go. 2 cards left and 1 space. I have 2 wheat. And I can only travel 1. I can spend 2 to make $6. Yeah. 2 wheat and 2 stone makes Jack a dull boy. Could build that tower and get my victory point every round. That wouldn't suck. It would also let me enact an edict and slow him down a little. I would get $3 out of it. Okay, you sold me. But oh, okay. Well, I need a car. I need to have the space to do it. And it's either a trade action or I need 6. Well, I just don't have the money, is what it comes down to. Could play that card and set myself up to take that ally. I don't really want that ally, though. It's tough. It's a tough call. What I'm trying to do, for the sake of you guys following along at home, is I'm over here. I want to get here because I want, how do I describe this? I could sell the 2 for 6 and then get 6 for 2. What I'd rather do is get here and just spend 6 for 2 stone, because then I would have 2 stone and 2 wheat and I could build. But if I move there directly, then hold on. Hold the phone. Hold on. What if I just move 1 step and get this card? Because it's free. Can I get that card? I can't get that card. Well, I can. This card's good. $2 and a stone? That doesn't suck. I can't get it now, but I can get it next round. So what I could do is move for 1, get a wheat, or I can get direct a trade and a build, but I don't have the stuff to do either. So get the wheat. Yeah, okay. So I'll take my free move. And the scary part with doing that is maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. Yeah, because I want to get here. So if I don't get this card, it's fine. I'll get the wheat. I'll play this card. Play my last card here face up for the wheat, because I can't do either of the special actions. So I'll now have a 3 wheat. And that's okay. And that makes it the end of the round. But he gets to go first. And there's his second crown. So he gets to come to me. He follows me along. He doesn't do anything else, but because he did get his second crown, this entire deck gets reshuffled. So we didn't get a chance to see the rest of his cards in the deck. Not outright anyway. Shuffling is hard. I don't know why, but for some reason, I'm not able to see how many people might be watching me. So I hope you're enjoying it if you're here. Usually I get a little number in the corner, but I'm not seeing it. Maybe this one will tell me. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, all right, cool, yeah. I was able to find it, though, through a sneaky little button that I have on my Stream Deck. So, okay. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Cool. All right. Oop, I missed a card. I'll just bury it, and then I'll cut. Cut, shuffle. Cool. All right, so those are shuffled up. End of the round. So my cards, I'm going to choose to, will I discard that? I might not, actually. I might keep that. Yeah, I might keep that. Yeah, I'm going to keep that card. I'm going to discard all of these cards, and I get to deal back up to 5. But my deck is empty as well. So I'm going to shuffle my discards. There's so few cards in this deck, it's just easier to do a slide shuffle real quick. So that's what I'm going to do. I wonder how many people who sleeve their cards always cringe when they see people who don't sleeve their cards shuffle their cards. Oh well. Okay, so I have this card that I kept, and I'm going to deal 5 more to myself. All right, not a bad mix. Not a bad mix. That was the end of the round, so let's make sure we handle everything correctly. We discarded, did all that, drew pile. Okay, still don't have any income, and I didn't complete a closed section of my castle. I still have no allies. I am not doing well in terms of score. Reorganize, refill action cards. Well, I did get a card, so I will refill 1. I forget if this deck empties at the game over too, but I would imagine so. The card that came out for the reference is if you, for every 3 pieces of building in your castle, get a victory point every time you play that card. I'd have to spend an action to do that though, so I don't know why I would want that. It's only 1 victory point. You're going to spend an entire card action for 1 victory point? Okay. My turn again. Looking. We want to advance and get a card for free. No, I'm going to take this card. Do I want this card or do I want the other card? Well, I get them both for free, but then I can only get 1 card per round. So which card is better for me? $2 and a stone? Or advance my specialist and get a wheat? I like advance my specialist and get a wheat. So I'm going to take my free action. I'm here. I'm going to take my free action, move here, and we're going to play this card. Am I? No. I'm going to play my ally card because I don't think I'm going to get an ally this round either. Who knows? We might. I'm really not making it work this game, but that's okay. We're going to see how it goes. I could be wrong. I could be doing better than I think, but okay, we're going to take this card and we're going to play it here. We can technically get an ally here too. I can probably manage to get more allies than him. Do I want that ally? It would be a way to free up my storage and at least get a victory point every round for having 1 ally, right? And I do have a card that lets me exchange allies, so why not? I could do that. All right. I don't have a problem with that. So here's what we're going to do. I have 3 wheat in my storage, and it takes 2 wheat to get this ally. My card that I play lets me execute both of these because I have that special ability. So one of them is get an ally, so I'm going to get an ally. 2 wheat to attract that ally. So I get this top ally, and it goes into my area in the first and only available ally slot that I currently have. Now, at the end of every round, allies will score me at least 1 victory point unless I meet that condition as well. Which this one is have more allies than Frederick, but Frederick right now has 3 allies. So I'm not going to get the bonus points for her yet. But I might exchange her later. We'll see. My second action, the action I was truly going for, is get a card. And where I'm currently at, this card costs $2. But my specialist is currently sitting in a location that lets me have a $2 discount on action cards. So I don't pay anything for that card. That card comes here for free. And if you recall, every time you get a card, you're allowed to use it right away. So I am going to use it right away. Frederick is going to, do I get to decide whether he gets something or not? Or does he only get taken away? Let's see. This is card A20. I think I read this before, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Hi. Hello. Add or remove a tower. Ooh, my. Goody. He's got a lot of towers. I'm going to remove a tower. And I gain a stone. Great. So now I'm there. And I get $2. Not a bad day's work. Okay. And I can play that card later if I want to and do it again. Okay. What am I doing? That was the end of my turn. It's his turn. He is going to move his boat 1 space. He's basically trailing in behind me, and he's going to do another edict. Bummer, because the more edicts he does, the faster this game's going to go. He's gaining $2. Oh no, he goes up 2. And he advances his specialist. I have a card where that's not a bad thing for me. I really don't want him to have a lot of money because there is a specialist on the, or not, an ally on the board that says have more money than him. So the more spaces he takes, the worse it is for that specialist. Okay, so he did edict number 3, so that's coming off. And the third one then comes up. And then I refill. Okay. So back to me again. Well, I'm in the spot that I wanted to be in the beginning. So I'm going to spend $6 to do a trade, this action. Yes. Oh. Okay. Well, that was dumb. I did the ally thing and I shouldn't have. I should have held on to my wheat. Oh, that's a bummer. Oh well. Live and learn. I could buy stone. 2 stone for $6 right now. I have 8. It seems like a lot when the next space is buy stone for $1 a piece. I can sell wheat. If I move, well, did I move already? I think I did. No, that was last turn. It's my turn now. I can move again if I want to. I can spend $1 to move. Spend $4 for 2 wheat. Huh. I'm trying to decide what I want to do here. There's a lot of trading actions I could do. 2 stone and a wheat building wise. I could build another wall, but that wouldn't help me actually use the benefits in my thing because I have to get closed wall segments. I'm better off building that tower, and building that wall. This is a mess. This is a mess. I needed to get that wheat done. And now I can't really. Okay, I could play that card for a wheat. It's true. It's a waste, but I could do it. Yeah, okay. All right. It's the best I can do. Okay. All right. Sorry for hemming and hawing. We're going to play this card, and we're going to just spend a whole action just getting a wheat. It's kind of a waste, but you live, you learn, and it's a way out of my current predicament. Yeah. Okay, that's my whole turn. So he goes 1 crown. And he's coming to meet me. I didn't move. And that's all he's doing. Okay. Back to me. I now am going to do a build action. Oh, I know what I was going to do this whole time. That was dumb too. Oh, man. Well, okay. I can turn 2 wheat into 2 stone with a trade action here. I don't know why I wouldn't do that. I have 2 wheat. Yeah, let's conduct a trade action. Yeah, okay, let's conduct a trade action. And we will go here with it. And I'm going to get a stone and conduct a trade action. So my last storage is stone. Trade actions. Now, I can sell on the board where I'm currently at. I can sell 2 wheat to make $6. I'm not going to pull the money because I'm going to do both trades. So I'm going to sell 2 for 6, 2 wheat for $6, and then spend $6 for 2 stone. Literal conversion. So 2 wheat becomes 2 stone. Now I have 4 stone. End of turn. He is going to not move and enact edict number 3. Okay. So edict number 3 says go up 2 wheat. Oh God, he's at max wheat and he goes up $1 too. So he's at max money. Yikes. Good thing I don't have allies that want lower numbers there. Ooh. There's no way I would compete. Okay. My turn. I'm going to use this special card here. Yeah, I'm going to use this special card here, and I'm going to... am I? I could do it differently, though. 2 stone. 2 stone's pretty good. Okay. All right. My partner just came home and my kids are freaking out. All right. We're going to play it here instead. We're going to spend 2 stone to build a tower. So I'm going to, I have money, so let's take a close look. I could build any of these towers, just like the walls. I don't have to build them in order. If I build these 2, I perform an edict when I get a new ally in those locations. So I free it up for that. If I... Ooh. Okay. If I come here, I spend $2 and I gain an action card in my location. I want this action card anyway. This action card is the one that's like get a wheat and advance your specialist. That's a good thing. This one is spend $3 and get an ally for free. This ally in this location is, advance your specialist more than Frederick has advanced his, which is in this moment not the case, but it could very easily be. So either of those are good. I like the card more right now. I can come back around for him unless Frederick takes him as an ally, but we'll see. Yeah, so I think we're going to spend $2 and get a free card. That's what we're going to do. We're going to build this tower. So spending $2 and we're going to build this tower. This tower goes here. Let's go into my castle for a moment. Take a look. So we're going to build this one right here because this is just build a tower. The card that I played just build a tower. I'll double check, but I don't think I have to spend the exact resources for it. What number is that? It's a starting card. Got it. Where's my references? There it is. Yeah, build a tower using exactly 2 stone instead of any other indicated cost. If you build a great structure, you must still pay its... Great. Okay, so I did pay its extra cost because I am building one of the great towers, but that's okay. So I am going to choose to build this one instead. So I'm not going to pay the price that it says listed there. I should do that over here. It's 3 stone. But stone hasn't been hard for me to get for some reason. Having the right combinations of stuff has been. So just making sure I'm not shooting myself in the foot, that's all. The reason why I want to put this here is because I want to start getting this benefit. This would close off this wall section, and I could start getting this benefit finally. And I'd be set up to earn this one here pretty soon too. I could instead come over here and do that here, but I still wouldn't get anything because then I have 2 incomplete wall sections. Yeah, let's get this built. Plus I get to do an edict right away, which is good too. Okay, so I get to do an edict because I completed that. So let's go take a look at the edicts right now. I have 2 stone right now. If I get a wheat, I can build another tower with my 2 stone and a wheat. I could just build this extra wall over there, get $2. So what do I want to do? I have a card coming up that's looking at where his specialist is in relation to mine. Well, not in relation to mine, just generally. If he's 3 steps ahead, that card will earn me 3 victory points when I play it. So I kind of want to advance him 1 step. And just for good faith, I'm pretty sure that because he got here before I do, I don't get that token. So I'm going to remove that now to avoid any confusion. So what I'm getting at is he's 2 steps in now, and if I advance him 1 more step, then he would be at 3 steps, and I would get maximum benefit when that card comes out, which I think is coming up in the next draw. So I think I'm going to take edicts 2 or 3. I don't have any victory points, and I'm down to $6. That being said, I like the second one because I can reduce the number of allies he's got. So I think I'm going to go with 2. I'm going to go with this one. So going with 2, I'm going to see if make sure it shows up on the screen for you. Getting a little bit of, oh, not quite, a little higher. Okay, going with that one. So I'm going to remove a tower. I'm going to advance his specialist 1 step, and I'm going to remove 1 ally. Because the removing of 1 ally helps me with my ally. Not quite earning the extra 2 victory points yet, but it's on the way. And advancing the specialist also helps me with that 1 card that gives me victory points. So, did that. That's done. I'm going to use, oh, that's a risk, but I'm going to use this one. Yeah, okay. We'll see if he gets it or not. Okay. All right, now it's his turn. I built a wall and I got an edict. Or I built a tower and I got an edict. That's what I did last turn. Okay, he is going to not move and he's going to take a card. Oh, I got a card. I got a card. I got a card for building that. So I got this card before he had a chance to get it, which means, hold on, we know what he's going to do, but it won't matter anyway because it doesn't actually change anything. So before I finish that card, I'm going to, when I get this card, I get to immediately use this card. So I get a wheat and I get to advance my specialist. What you didn't see was, let me come back to my player board, I'll walk you through it. So I forgot that when I built this tower, I spent the $2 to get the card. I didn't resolve that. So on the space where I'm currently at, this card was here. this was the card I was going to get, and I was going to get it for free. So I took that card. So now I come to my player board. This card gets to get enacted right away the moment you get it. So I got one of my wheat, which is in my player board now, and I'm about to advance my specialist. These were things I should have done at the end of before the end of my turn, and I had forgotten about that part. So I'm just resolving it now. I like extra movement a lot. So we're going to go with extra movement. We're going to move this guy. Now I can move 2 spaces for free instead of just the 1. Okay. Cool. Now, back to what we were looking at. We were looking at him. How well can you see that? I think you're okay. Yeah, you're all right. Okay. So we have this card, which is what was coming out. He's not going to move, and he's going to take a card. He can't take a card because I took it before him. That's what triggered me to go, wait a minute, I didn't resolve that. So he doesn't have to do it. He doesn't get anything out of that. He doesn't obstruct me at all, which is cool. All right, back to me. Last action. I have 2 stone and wheat. If I can get 1 more stone, and I can, but not before I run out of room. Bummer. I think I could do it anyway. I should do it anyway. Yeah, I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, so I could trade. Let me make sure. Hold on. I have $6, but I don't have the room to use them. If I want to conduct a trade, but I don't have the room for everything, do I get to conduct a partial trade? $6 for 1 is steep, though. It's back to me, and I get to move. So we're going to move 1 step. And we are going to take this $3 card and use it for its generic ability. I'm going to go here, which lets me do a trade action and a build. Trade action in this location is spend $1, get a stone. Spend $1, get a stone is pretty great. I'm looking for the reference manual because I want to know for sure. I want to know for sure. Where are you? Is there not a reference for the trades? Trading. 1 or both of the following actions once. Okay, so it's once. Okay, all right, fine. I can't do it multiple times. That's fine. Okay. So if I am here, I move to my ship, my free movement. I actually get to move 2 for free now, but I only chose to go once because I can buy a stone 1 time for $1. So I'm going to spend $1 and I get a stone. I'm now maxed out. What do I want to do? I'm just making sure I don't need it, and I do need it. Okay, I have 3 stone and a wheat now. Now, if we come back to the player board, I didn't decide to do the other trade. I just wanted the 1. The card that I played was this one, and because I can now execute both sides, I just did the trade, and now I'm going to do the build. So if we look at my castle, I'm going to build this piece of the keep, which lets me unlock my 6th action slot every round. So I get to do more every round now. And I get to do an edict. So 3 stone and a wheat. I'm building that. Out it comes. 3 stone and a wheat. I'm fresh out of resources. But this comes in. Now the question is, do I want to spend $4? That would leave me with $1 and build the great section of my keep. If I do that, I get to promote my specialists twice. Or I could just do the usual deal. think I'm going to do the usual deal. I'm going to save my money, and we're going to get the usual deal out of the way. There's no extra cash involved, and that goes in here. So this now covers up this slot. Great. So I just built a regular section of keep, not an upgraded version. So that, back to my player board. So I built this piece. That tile came in here to remind me. And what that did is it removes this blocker out of my player board. Now I have this turn right now, one additional action I can take before the end of the round. And the cool part is Frederick only ever does 5 things. So even if, now that I have this 6th slot, I get to take an action that he doesn't get to go again at the end. So I get to do an edict because if you look on the castle, just as a reminder, when you build this piece, you get to perform an edict. So over to the edicts. I want him to lose an ally, lose some money, and lose some wheat. So I'm going to take action number 2, edict number 2, which is lose a wheat down to 4, lose a money down to 12, lose an ally down to 1. This comes off. I get a resource of my choosing, stone or wheat. I have the ability to get both with different cards. What resource do I want? Do I want to build? I want stone. Let's get stone. Okay. We get a stone for that. And then which of these do I want him to have? Or have access to, rather. This one. Okay. Now, back to me. It's not the end of the round. Or is it back to me? Hold on. No, it's his turn. It's his turn. He is going to not advance and do edict number 2. Wow, this game is accelerating. Okay, the edict that I just put out. So he's going to gain 1. He can't gain another, so he ignores it. And he gains a stone. So that was my way of trying to give him less. And then he takes, oh, I didn't refill from 1 when I took it. So he's going to take the middle one. That's not good because it lets him build a lot. I don't want him to build a lot. Okay. There's only 2 edicts left in the stack. So what do I want to do? Well, I have 1 action left. Let's take a look at what we have. We have 2 cards. We can get a wheat and advance my specialist 1 step. Or we can remove one of his towers if I want to, get a stone and $2, also not a bad thing. Or we can get a free card. Well, I can move, which I might want to do. I don't know, though. I feel like either of these cards would be better than getting one of those cards right now. When you play A9, do you have to pay the cost? I imagine you do. A9 doesn't say. Huh. It just says promote one of your specialists. Because it doesn't say it, I'm going to say it. I do have to pay the cost. I don't have the wheat on me right now. Oh, I would get a wheat though when playing this. So, I think we play this card. We're going to play this card, and that's going to let us gain a wheat and promote or advance one of our specialists. I'm going to double up on advanced move. And the reason is because I want to advance here, but I don't want to lose my advanced move, my moving a second space. So I'm going to keep that wheat, use it for other things, and eventually I'm going to get to a point where I can advance again. And when I do, I'm going to be able to push into that space. And that's the goal anyway. Did I want to travel? Nah. This trade spot's pretty decent. Can make some money here. So I'm going to stay here. No, I'm going to stay here. I should have made that decision before I played my card, but regardless. Okay, that's the end of that. And because that's the end of the 6th turn, he doesn't get to go. It's just the end of the round. So all of these cards come off. They go into the discard. And I get to decide whether or not I want to keep that card. $2 and a stone, not a bad thing. I'll keep that card. That's pretty good flexibility, and there's worse cards in my deck. So I'll draw up to 5. I still haven't increased my hand size any. That's okay. I don't need to. Okay, at least not yet. Okay, well, some interesting cards just came out. And as expected, this was one of them. This is the one where it's like if Frederick's specialist is advanced up to 3 spaces, you can earn up to 3 victory points, and then you advance your own specialist. That's the card I was expecting would come out. So I'm going to probably play that at first. But let's finish the rest of the setup first. Okay, adding in any cards that were missed will come. We're not missed, but taken. So we'll refill. This one is spend $3, get 2 victory points. Do that up to twice when you play this card. That's pretty decent. That's 4 victory points just playing that card. This is trade stone up to twice, get 2 victory points each time you do it. So again, 4. Those are both useful. These are advanced. This is like late game card coming out now. They are more expensive though. This card is 4, this card is 3. So I get a $2 discount on cards. I still have a specialist on that section, so I can make them cheaper. But I'm back. I'm now getting to a point where I'm going to have to actually start paying for money on cards again. Okay, what do I want to do? I have more. I have the ability to do both standard actions in one shot, and I get the 6 actions instead of 5 now. That's a good thing. I can get a lot more done now. But if I don't draw a card somewhere, I'm going to run out of cards. I have 5 cards and 6 actions. So I might want to actually play this card for drawing cards. We'll see. In fact, we could do it first. Do I want to move? I think I might want to move and get a card. Yeah, I'm going to move for 1. So we're on this board. I'm going to move my free move action for 1. I like that card. So I am going to play so here's the thing. Here's what I'm wrestling with. In order to get this card, I have to banish a card from the game. So I can only do that for cards in my hand or cards in my discard. Well, I have a lot of cards in my discard right now, so maybe, yeah, okay. I can discard a couple of those. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm going to, what? I'm going to play this card. I'm going to play it here, and I'm going to get a card. I'm going to get this card. And in order to get that card, I have to banish a card. So I'm going to banish that card. This card goes away and is replaced by this one. Now, here's the fun part. When you get a new card, you get to use it right away. So I'm going to use it right away. I'm going to draw 4 cards from my deck. I can only draw 2 because I'm out of cards. So I'm going to take my discard and shuffle it. I guess the question is, when you do draw cards, do you have to draw up to your hand limit, or do you have to discard down to your hand limit at the end of the round? That's a good question. There is a basic card section, I think. How to play. No, I know how to play. It's just this one freaking card that I can never remember how it works. Into the round. Promote a specialist. Perform an action. Yeah. Right. Draw 4 cards from your draw pile. Well, there is going to be a hand size, a hand limit thing somewhere in here. Yeah. That's very strange that I can't find this answer. Well, I'm going to say that because the card let me draw 4, I'm going to draw 4. Maybe that's wrong. I can't find the answer. I think what's going to happen is at the end of the round, I'm going to have to discard down to 5 cards. That's all I can think of. That's what I would do, but I don't know if that's the way the game is written or not. But if I'm wrong, if I find the answer later, then I will put it in the comments that I got it wrong, or in the description rather. Okay, so I got all these cards to choose from. Now, Oh, and I get to advance my specialist 1 spot. So just as we talked about, the second action was advancing a specialist. So I have 1 wheat, so I'm going to advance one of my specialists here. I can still get the movement done, but now every time I build a tower, I get $4. So I spend the wheat to advance that specialist. Okay. Or promote that specialist. Great. That was the end of my turn? Yeah, because I just got a card. Okay, he goes. Frederick goes. He advances 1 step. And he enacts edict number 1, which is build 2 towers. Oof. And a wall. Not good. He's about to end the game. I'm going to have to do something about that, or he's going to end it. And I don't know that I want him to right now. I am not prepared for that. That was one of the worst ones he could do for a number of reasons. Okay, and because he took 1, he replaces from 1 and he refills. I don't really like where he's at right now. All right. Oh, wait. We didn't do end of round stuff. I shuffled, I played cards, but I didn't actually do the end of round stuff, did I? Because I built last round. I should have dealt with the end of round stuff. All right, well, let's do it now. Let's do income. I get a victory point. Finally, I'm on the board. 1 point. Can't believe it. I do have an ally, and I have the same amount. I don't know that the same amount matters. I think you have to have more. You just have to have more. And because we're tied, I don't think I get it. So I got 1 victory point for 1 ally. So that's the 2nd victory point. Great. And I refilled the cards. I did do that. How strange. All right. Well, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, great. He did that back to me. Great. Okay, fine. Sorry, had to retcon that to make sure I didn't mess up something. Was due 2 victory points. And I'm considering how low I am, I really need to have that. What do I want to do? We are going to play advance a specialist. This is a get 3 victory points for 3 steps, Frederick. So he's 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. So he's 3 steps in, and that's the max I can use for this benefit. So I get 3 victory points. So I'm at 5 now, and I get to advance a specialist. I think I'm going to go advance. Ooh, I don't have the wheat to advance that. The only one that I can advance is this guy. Ooh, and I can advance him 1 of 2 spaces. I can either build keeps for 1 stone less, which, okay, great, but I have 2 of my 3 built already. Or every time I conduct a trade action, I get $3. I'm inclined to do that because I do trade actions far more than building keeps. Double check. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm going to advance here. Just start making more money on trades. Okay. So that was my... that's the end of my action. So what does he do? He does my 2nd crown. Finally, he's moving to me and then shuffles. One moment, please. don't think I'm going to do very well this game. We'll see. We're just starting to get some victory points on the table, though. So I don't know. I might. I surprised myself when I played it last night, too. I played it last night on BGA, as I mentioned at the top of the stream. And by the time the game ended, I had 20-something points. And then at the end of game scoring, I ended up earning 30 points. So the game can surprise you at the end with scoring. Okay. Back to me. One, two, three, four, five, six. He's got a lot more castle built than me. I don't want that. I could move for free and get towers, but he's got me beat on towers too. Oh, I was supposed to refresh this guy from last round. It didn't. Okay. He's got me beat on wheat. There's no way I'm going to get that. One, two, three, four, five to his one. I could get this ally, which would give me an advantage. That's not a bad ally to get. I don't have any. I have a castle wall. I'm sorry. I have a stone. I could build a wall for one stone and one wheat. So I could play something that gives me a wheat. I don't have anything that gives me a wheat. That's unfortunate. Yeah. What do I want to do about that? Two stone, a stone and a wheat. So if I can get I'm trying to decide how to get a bunch of stuff built real fast, right? Because each piece of your castle that you build is worth a victory point at the end of the game. Though the allies that I'm getting this game are really tough to synergize with, based on where he's at, and I just need to be able to lay down a lot more edicts than I'm able to do right now in order to control him. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to eke out a victory there. That's tricky, right? Because I want allies that are going to help me earn victory points. So I'm thinking I can't really get allies that are going to help me earn victory points because he's built a lot. He's got a lot of resources, a lot of money. The only thing he has doesn't have a lot of is allies, and that's because I've controlled him, because I have an ally that wants him to have fewer allies than me. I need to get a second ally, and it doesn't even matter what it is. So I think maybe what I do is just do that, get an ally right now, or soon if I can. The cheapest ally is this guy over here. What do I want to do? Well, I could increase my storage to get more storage capacity for goods, get my castle built more. Goods convert into victory points at the end of the game. Castle parts convert into victory points at the end of the game. Those are things that I directly control. So even and maybe if I get lucky on card draws with Frederick, he'll remove some of these allies from the board, and then I can maybe get access to the ones that are underneath it before the end of the game. But the end of the game is not very far away now. So I have to kind of like figure out how to get the most amount of stuff built possible. So I think that's just going to mean castle parts. I can control that. So I want an ally, yeah, but I don't have the wheat to gain an ally right now. So I'm not going to bother with it. Instead, I think I'm going to use the generic actions more. I get to move. I still get cards cheap, so I could get that one and get 3 victory points, or get a victory point for every 3 castle parts. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It doesn't say it times, so I'd have to check whether that's multiplies or not. I think it's for every 3. No, it would say 3 plus, so that's just 1. Well, is it though? What is that? That is B13 reference guide. B13 says for every 3, gain 1 victory point. So every time I play that card, it would be worth 2 victory points. Getting a card is cheap. So I think I'm going to take my free move. I'm going to move here. And I'm going to play I'm going to play this draw 4 card there. And I can't get the ally because I don't have the wheat. But I can get the card for free because it costs $2, and there you go. So, because it enacts when you first get it, I have this card says for every 3 castle parts earn a victory point. I have 6 castle parts built, so I gain 2 victory points, just like that. I got to do something, right? In fact, I'm going to do that again. Am I? I just want to make sure I don't mess this up. Yeah. I am going to do it again. But before I do, that's the end of my turn because I just got a card. Okay, that's the end of my turn. Fine, he goes. Frederick just moves his ship 1 space and doesn't do anything else. Cool. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to play it here. You can't see that. I'm going to play it here. I'm going to get 2 more victory points. Boom, boom. Okay. No. Now, do I want to do a trade? $2 for 2 wheat? Maybe. Maybe. I'm debating. I could do a trade and then build in 1 action. And if I do that, then I could do 2 wheat. I have a stone and 2 wheat at that point, which would let me build the wall. So maybe that's the way to go. Yeah, we're going to play the generic 2 actions. I get to do a trade and a build. So we're going to spend $2. I have 5, so down to 3 to gain 2 wheat. And then I don't want to do the other trade. So then my second action is build. So I'm going to build a wall, and I'm going to build this wall here. And it costs one of each, one stone, one wheat. So now I'm left with one wheat, and I got that wall built. I still don't get the end of round benefit for it because I haven't finished that wall, because I don't have a tower in that corner, but that's okay. Is that it? I think that's it. That's it. Okay, he goes, and he does not move, and enacts edict number 3. Edict number 3 is build a wall and a keep. He doesn't build a keep, but he does build a wall. He's 1 block away from ending the game. That's not good. And he advances specialist 1 step. 3 is done. And he's going to refill with that one. And that's the end of that. He's probably going to get this game ended before I have a chance to do a whole lot more. Because I don't have the ability to really enact a whole lot of edicts against him right now. I could build a tower and then get an ally and then do an edict. Then I could build another wall and then do an edict. So like I can see a path to doing 2, but really before he gets a chance to draw another edict card, I don't know. Okay, anyway, back to me. In order to build something else, I need stone. So what do I want to do? Okay, I'm going to take my free move. Yeah, I think that's going to work. I'm going to take my free move, come down here. And then I'm going to play this card. So I'm going to remove a tower, try to slow him down a little. So now he's 2 parts away. He can still get it, though. It's going to be a little harder. I get a stone and $2. Okay. Is that it? I think that's all. Okay, that was my 6th action, so he doesn't go. That's the end of the round. I have 4. I can choose to discard as many of those as I want. I'm going to discard this one and this one. So I have 2, and that means I'm going to draw up to 5. 1, 2, 3. All of these are discarded. These are refilled here and here. Okay, interesting. What else are we doing? Nobody needs to be flipped over there. Is there anything else? Oh, ally income, of course. I have my 1 free victory point for having a complete wall. And we're tied still, so I only get the 1 victory point for having ties with him. I don't defeat him in number of allies. I'm trying to get rid of that last ally, but we'll see. Yeah. Anything else? I don't think so. Okay, back to me. I have a stone and a wheat. I need to What do I need to do? I could trade here. Yeah, I'm going to trade here. I'm going to do stone and a trade. And I'm going to play that in one of my, I'm going to play that over here. No, I'll play it over here where it's kind of cheap. Yeah, I'll play it here and I get a stone and I conduct a trade action where I am going to spend $3 to buy a stone and a wheat. Cool. So now I have 3 stone and 2 wheat in storage. He goes. He moves 1. And he enacts edict number 3. Well, thank God, because edict number 3 is money and stone and advanced on, I believe he takes that. So I don't get that now. That's fine. So edict number 3 is this one. I just did all of that. So that's off. And then he took from 3. So he refills from 3. And there's no way to refill it. So 2 more of those and the game is over one way or the other. Okay. Now back to me. We're going to build. I can build almost anything now. Almost. I could build the last keep, get a larger hand size, and get the edict built. It's expensive though. I would much rather build more. So let's play this out. I have 2 stone. I have a card that lets me build a tower for 2 stone. That's not a bad thing, because that would leave me with a stone and 2 wheat. That's not enough to build again. So if I'm going to do that, I could build this one for cheaper by playing that. I would still need to get more stone, but that's okay. So I do think that's the right thing to do. That's tricky though. Ooh, I did a trade. And every time I do trades now, I get $3. I missed that. So, cool. I basically just got my money back. That's nice. In that case, I think I am going to play this card. I'm going to play this card here and get $2 and spend 2 stone to build a new tower. So that tower is going to be this one. And on my castle, we're going to build the castle where? I think we're going to build it here. I want to do this one, but I'll do that in a minute. I really want to get this wall built. I guess I could do this, just get the edict done. And then I don't care as much. Nah, but I have to build a tower with this. Hold on a minute. I might want to pull that back. I think I'm going to pull that back. This is going to, dang it. This is going to, I'm going to pull that back. I didn't take that action. We still got our full complement of stone. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to take a trade and a build action. And we're going to do build first. Yeah. A trade and a build like that. So this is what we're doing instead. Trading and building. And we're going to do the build first. And we're going to build 3 stone to build the last keep, which costs $4. And I get to advance my specialists twice. But the important thing is, one of the important things is that I get to conduct an edict. And my hand size just goes up 2 for building this. Now, I'm going to advance my specialists first. So I'm going to spend 1 of my wheat. I'm going to spend 1 of my wheat to go from here to here. Now, every time I do edicts, I get 3 victory points. And what else? I don't think I care about card discounts anymore. I do want to keep wheat, though. Do I forego the promotion? I think I'm going to forego the promotion. I can get an ally for free, though, right where I'm at, which wouldn't be a bad thing, but I do like getting the 3 victory points for staying where I'm at. Nah, you know what? I will pay the extra wheat to do the extra promotion. So, okay. The second promotion requires an additional wheat. We'll promote there instead. I think I'm not allowed to skip those promotions was one thing. The other thing is I can get more resources. It is what it is. I think it's probably better to do that. I get more money when I build. I get money again if I build more castle parts. So, okay, so that goes there. My specialists are done. I now conduct an edict for building that last keep piece. Here's what my castle now. Whoa! Here's what my castle now looks like. So this is all done. Cool. My keep is finished. I get to do an edict now. So I'm going to take the one that removes the most pieces from his castle. I don't have one on the board right now that lets me reduce the number of followers he has. And plus, I don't want the game to end. So I'm going to take the middle one, which lets me remove 2 castle walls and a keep piece. Okay. And for taking care of that edict, we'll go there, I guess. I don't like it. Will I do that? Yeah, I'll do that, I guess. Oh, I get a stone or a wheat. Well, I'm going to get the stone because I can get wheat with one of my cards and I can trade if I need to. So I'm going to get the stone. Okay. That's the end of my action. He goes. 1 crown. He travels to me. He's already at me, so he does nothing. Cool. Dodged a bullet once more. I have a stone. I'm going to... Oh, I don't have any money. Not good. I get 3 victory points because I enacted an edict. 1, 2, 3, 14. I'm not going to be able to draw any cards. That's a bummer. I should get another ally now that I've gotten the victory points from that edict. I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do in terms of getting resources. I have a stone. I need money. I could advance a specialist. Yeah, okay. I don't know what else to do, so I'm going to advance. I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna play this card. I'm gonna get a wheat and advance a specialist. So now I have a stone and a wheat, and I'm going to advance a specialist to here. My final specialist, which gives me this tile, which lets me get a follower or an ally for free. So I'm at my current location. So I'm going to grab this ally, which means I have to have more wheat than Frederick, but that doesn't matter. I now have more allies than Frederick does. So I will at least get a victory point bonus from this one ally one time before the end of the game. Okay. So I got that done. Advance that specialist. Great. That's it. Okay, moving on. He just advances one step. Cool. Dodged another bullet. Do I want this one more? He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps. I have a sinking suspicion that that ally is not what I think it is. Oh. That's not the same one, though. That's odd. Where is she? She might be one of the new ones. Well, what does that say? If you have more walls, okay, got it. Yeah. Oh, that's number of allies. That's her. Oh, okay. More allies than Frederick. Yeah. Yeah, and this guy is saying, yeah, I'm not ahead of him is the only problem. I would have to pull him backward one step. If I got this specialist, or this ally, I would not be able to actually benefit from that. I was thinking I could trade with him and try to get that. Might be better than this other one, though. But I don't want to waste an action doing that. Right now, I don't think so. Would rather trade, but I don't have anything to trade. I could make $7 real fast, and maybe that's the thing to do, because if he ends the game right now, money is equal victory points. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to conduct a trade. Yeah. I'm going to conduct a trade, and I'm going to sell these two for 7 victory points. Or sorry, 7 money, which is where I'm currently at. Now I have $8, which is good. And I get to also advance a specialist because of the thing that I took. The only one that I really can move is this one from here to here, so I will, because I think there's victory points about how far along they are. So I might as well advance them as far as I can. Okay, that's the end of my turn. He now goes. You can't see, so we'll go that way. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. So he is not going to move, and he is going to finally, well, this card came out, he's going to remove a ally. Okay. Still alive. He still didn't do another edict. So What am I going to do now? Don't have stone. Can't build. Don't have, I do have money. I could move. I don't have the ability to get an edict, even if I'm sorry, an ally, even if I wanted to. I could spend $3. If I stay here, I can't trade because I don't have a card that lets me trade. And I don't have the wheat to get an ally. And I don't have the resources to build, so I think I have to pass. Where do I want to be when well, if I pass, I can still move. I can still move for free. So I think I'm going to. No, I'll stay here. I'll stay here, and then I will pass. Frederick will go, because he can. And he enacts an edict, the last one he'll be able to do. He's going to move 1. He'll specialist advances twice, and he gains a ally. That's not good. That's not good. Because at the end of the round, does he when I pass or not? I think he does. So, yeah. Yeah, he would. Okay, that's not good. Okay, it can no longer be refilled. The next edict ends it. I have passed. So we're back here. All of these cards come out. I'll keep that one. My hand size is now 7, so I'm going to shuffle my deck and draw 5. Okay. Oh, hey. How's it going? This was a Kickstarter, yes. Sorry, I didn't see you there. Welcome in. This is Stupor Mundi, and it's really clever. It's very, very good. It was a Kickstarter a while back. It just barely fulfilled. It's from Quind Games. I forget how they pronounce it. I really like it. It's very thinky, but it's not very difficult to learn how to play. You can play it on BGA right now, actually, if you want to try it, which I recommend doing. If you've never been over there or haven't been there recently, check it out. Because it handles all the mechanics and stuff for you. So check out BGA if you want to try out Stupor Mundi. I like it. You'll get final thoughts in a second as soon as the game gets done kicking my butt. Let's see. All right, so there's that. All right. These guys unflip. Sorry, I'm doing end of round maintenance. This is towards the very end of the game. Okay, I think that's that. Because there are no cards that were drawn. Nope, good. And then I took care of my stuff. We take care of scoring my castle now. So my castle looks like this right now. This is a completed section. I get a victory point for a completed section, because that's this section here that is complete. And then on my player board, I have 2 allies. I am tied for the number of allies. I have 2 allies and he has 2 allies, so I only get 1 victory point. And he has way more wheat than me, so I don't get the bonus there either. So I only get 1 victory point there. I'm at 17 so far, which looks like not a whole lot, but you get a lot at the end of the game. So at least you can end up with a lot at the end of the game. So it could be okay. Asterisks are, we'll see. I have played this at 2-player and I've played it at solo. And I think playing it 3-player or higher would be really sweet as well, because you don't really block each other so much as get to the resources faster than others. For example, if I conduct a trade action at the same time as somebody else and they're in the same location as me, they're not obstructed from conducting a trade action, right? or I'm not either. So we can both conduct the same trades at the same location at the same time. We're not blocked there. The race is around getting access to the cards and getting access to the allies. You're not even blocked when you're out on this board, and these are your specialists that are kind of progressing across the specialist tracks. You're not blocked there either. You can both occupy the same spaces. You can manipulate the state of Frederick and the allies that he has, and those manipulations can actually be detrimental to you or other players based on what they care about versus what you care about. It's not that you're doing anything maliciously, you're just doing it to benefit yourself, and it happens to not be beneficial to somebody else. But so the more players, the more fluidity in the state of Frederick at any given time, and the state of the cards and ally tiles that are out here on the travel board. That's about all, though. The rest of it is about how well you're optimizing your stuff, and what allies you have, and how you're manipulating the game state to make your stuff score higher than everybody else. So I think it's going to scale well, I guess is the short answer. It's going to scale very well, and I think at 2 players and playing against the AI and all of that, I think all of this works really well. I actually really enjoy the solo game so far. This is my first time playing the physical version of the game. I played it on BGA a couple times, but I definitely recommend checking it out if it looks good to you, because I love the art. I think it's fantastic. Okay. Let's see. It's somewhat player solitaire, but there's enough external influence that you can really, if you're not getting at the resources that you want, if you're not getting at the allies or the cards you want before somebody else, you're going to have a hard time. So yeah, it's player solitaire, but it's also a tense race because the economy is kind of tight. And if you're not really making sure that you're first off the block to get somewhere, to get what you need before somebody else gets it instead, you're going to have a tough time winning this game. So it's player solitaire, but only in so much as you actually have the capability to get stuff done. If you're robbed of all your good stuff, then the art is phenomenal, and you don't see this enough. I'm with you. Troyes and Orléans are amazing from their art perspective, and I want to see more of this kind of art. I definitely recommend this, even if you think it might be a little bit player solitary, because I don't think it will be. I think you're going to have a hard time. Like, I'm having a really hard time earning a lot of points because the AI is really kicking my ass on certain things. He took certain cards that I needed right before I needed them, certain allies I needed right before I needed them. And because of that, my points are lower. So I think this is an indication that it may look like solitaire because there's not a whole lot of blocking in the game. But if you don't get what you need, you're going to have a much harder time getting stuff done. So there you go. Okay, let's finish this thing out before all my cameras and stuff run out of juice. And some of this is battery powered because of where I am in my house, so I have to keep an eye on the clock a little. Okay, let's see. Where was I? The last edict just got out. It's my turn. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I have no resources left. I'm worried about end of game here because all he has to do now is play one more edict card and the end of the game is triggered. We've got to play one more round and it's it. So I'm trying to avoid spending a lot of money to get resources because I want to make sure I have stuff at the end to score off of, but I also want to get something done if I can. I have a load of new cards. They're not really helpful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Really, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more piece and I can get another victory point, but that's all right. I'm not going to worry about getting cards because I don't have the resources to get cards right now. Sort of. Where I'm at right now, this card's pretty good. Spend $3, get 2 victory points, and you could do it twice when the card plays. It costs $4 to buy the card, though. So that's a lot of money. So I want to pay attention to that. That's pretty good. And he's not anywhere near me to steal it yet. So I could take a minute and make some money. Could do a trade action, which would $3, get $7. So I get $4 more, which would be enough to buy the car. Yeah. Be a quick way to make $4 victory points. It's not nothing. Okay, let's try it. It looks like a good idea. We'll take this and we will, you can't see what I'm doing. Here you go. So I'm going to try to do which action am I going to do? I want to do a trade action. So what I have the option of doing, I have an upgrade that I got earlier on that lets me take both of the standard actions when I play a card. So I can either play it here or play it here, because what I'm really going for is this trade action. This lets me advance one of my specialists, which I think earn me victory points as well. I just need to double check. The trouble is I don't have the wheat necessary on hand right now to do that, because all of my specialists are stuck in a spot where I need wheat to advance them. So I don't want to do that. If I go here, I would need to build. I wouldn't have to build. Maybe I don't waste this spot. Maybe I wait and I come over here and then just, oh, I want to trade though. I want to trade and I don't have any trading card. Okay, fine. I'm not going to advance my specialist. I'll just go there. I'll forego the advanced specialist and I'll do my trade. So if I look on the board now for trading, my current ship is sitting right here in Alexandria. The current trades are spend $3 to buy a wheat and a stone, and then trade in a wheat and a stone to make $7. I like this plan. And I could do both trades with one trade action. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend $3. I'm not going to bother with the details because I'm just going to trade it right back in. I'm taking $3 and I'm turning it into 7. So 5 and 2. So now I have $12. Cool. Now that was the end of my action because I'm not going to do the specialists. That's fine. So now we see what he's going to do. He's going to, that's his last crown. Okay, so he's going to move to me and do nothing else. It's a little scary though because I want this card. Every time he draws two crowns, then he shuffles his deck. So the solo deck is always a bit variable. You don't really know how far into his deck he's going to get before he reshuffles, which I really like. That's actually a nice advancement on the whole solo AI deck thing. It's very simple, but it makes it so you can't predict which cards are going to come out nearly as often. And you don't know how often between shuffles he's going to go. Okay. So that's him done. What am I going to do? I just made some money. Now I want to buy that card before he snakes it out from underneath me. So I'm going to take this card and I'm going to, do I want an ally? I can't really. I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to take a new card. I have a discount of 2, I think. Do I? Oh, I don't. I moved that specialist. I got to pay $4. Ouch. All right, fine. I'll pay $4 for that card. 5 down to 1. I have $8. Now, every time you buy a new card, back to here so you can see, every time you buy a new card, you immediately get to activate it. So I can spend $3 up to twice for 2 victory points apiece. So that's $6. I'm definitely going to do that. Because at this early stage, I need to make as many victory points, or late stage, I need to make as many victory points as I can. So $3 twice, 4 victory points. So over here, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 21 points. And I can still play that card again if I had the money, but I don't. If I make make a little bit more money, I can do 2 more victory points, and I probably should. But that's the end of the game, end of my round, not the end of the game. That's the end of my turn. So he goes again. And the end of the game has now been triggered because he just drew the last edict. He moves his ship once, and now we come over here, and you can see that. Yes, you can. So he is taking edict number 2, which gains him a wall. And edict number 2 is this one. He goes up 1 wheat, and he gains another ally. Oof, brutal. Okay, so that comes off, and now that is the end of the game. Give me a moment. I need to read end of game. Or I should say triggers the end of the game, because I don't want to mess it up. End of the game. The end of the game immediately after any round in which one or more will follow. Okay. Oh. The game ends immediately after any round. Oh. Oh my. That's different. Okay. That was a different, I believe, from the last time. So there isn't another round. We just call it right there. That's where it ends. I thought we go for one more round, but we don't. Okay. So the end of the game is one or more players built every structure in their castle. I was able to keep him from doing that. So that never happened. An active edict space cannot be refilled. That's what triggered the end of the game. Or there's an insufficient action cards to fully refill the board, which there's still cards in that deck, so that didn't happen. So the end of the game is now. 1 victory point for each structure in my castle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 victory points. 29. Okay. Let's see. Plus 4 victory points for the player or players whose castle contains the most structures. I think he's got me beat there. Let's take a close look. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces missing, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces missing. Bummer. So I don't get the follow-up prize because it's a 2-player game. So unfortunately, I miss out on those 4 points. Exchange the grain and stone cubes that I currently have left over, which are 0, for 2 money each, and then gain 1 victory point for every 6 money. I just spent a bunch of money, but it would have only been 1 victory point for every $6. So I basically doubled my victory points with that last move of mine a second ago. So I don't actually get any more victory points because I don't have $6, but I just basically cashed in ahead of time. So unfortunately, I didn't quite crack 30 points. I was trying to crack 30 points at least, but hey, you know, win some, lose some, and that was a tough solo game. 29 points puts me at surf. It's the very end of the surf, 0 to 29 points. 30 would have put me at knight, so I needed 1 more point. That's all right. That's all right. The game I played on BGA last night, I played and I got 59 points. So, you know, it just goes to show you, if you get the right cards, if you're thinking about the right things, you're going to get a much better game. And in this case, I just had a interesting confluence of like the allies that came out. A lot of the victory points in the game is deceptive. You gain a lot of them from allies, because if you get an ally, they're worth 1 victory point no matter what. If you satisfy their condition on the tile, then you get a bonus 2 victory points. And that's every round for every ally. So the more allies you get, the faster you get them, the more you're able to maintain their requirements, the more sustained victory points you will earn round over round over round. I just couldn't get that victory point engine humming. I was able to get a lot of stuff built, thank God, because those are a good part of my points, but it became difficult. It became difficult to really get that victory point running this time around. I don't know. You know, I want to say it will, because I've seen other games from them make it to the shelves. I know that I'm nearly certain that they're going to sell it on their website. I would be shocked if you couldn't get a hold of this game. I get the tariffs being what they are, but I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to get your hands on this. It's just fulfilling now. So worst case, you might be able to buy it off of BGG Market from somebody because they got their copy of it and they decided to sell it. So you might try that. It's now's kind of the time to do that. People tend to get them and turn them right away. You might pay less doing that, even if it's marked up a little bit, than you would paying for the tariffs. So you might try that. I don't know. It's something to think about. But there you go. At the end of the day, my final thoughts are essentially that the art is stunning. The thematic integration makes learning the game really easy. I think this was a drastically different feel and different game than my one that I played last night on BGA. Not because of the BGA or the interface, but because of just the amount of randomness. And I'll mention it. These action spaces here, these are all tiles that get shuffled, and so you're going to get a different distribution there. These end game first come first serve one-time benefits, those are shuffled. You're going to get a different stuff there. The edict stack and what gets added to that edict stack is shuffled. The distribution of the market tiles and whether they're on their red or their blue side impacts how different the game's going to be. The distribution of the ally tokens, the distribution of the action cards, the color that you choose to play, the starting deck that you have has a asymmetric player cards in it. Not significantly, but enough to make it different. So you can try playing the game a whole different color and just see how that feels. There's just a lot. There's a lot here that that makes the game look and feel and function very differently without changing the mechanics almost at all. So, you know, I got nothing but good things to say about it. I think this is a nice medium plus crunch level. It's not so crunchy. It's not so heavy that I'm not going to want to get it on the shelf. I think it sets up really fast and tears down just as fast. They did a great job with the trays and with the box design. You know, I mean, you can't really see it, but here's one of the trays. This is the tray for the AI. I'll put it here. I'll put it here so you can see it. That's the tray for the for the yellow kind of Frederick II character. So all the different parts line up in there, all their followers line up in there, and it all just clicks together and the board goes over top and that's it. Like, it's really great. The metal coins, highly worth it. If you get a chance to get them, get them. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Let me just catch up on what you said. Yeah, Shackleton base looked interesting. Phoenix New Horizons also. Those are tough calls. You don't see games with this theme applied to them very often, and the art treatment on this is definitely worth a prioritization if you like Troyes and Orléans. So I'll advocate on that one, if nothing else. So anyway, I think that about does it. Oh, do me a favor, will you? Since you're new here, if you don't mind, if you're up for it, will you give me a follow? Because I am 4 followers away for qualifying for Twitch affiliate. And that would really be awesome if I can make that. So if you don't mind giving me a follow, I would really appreciate it. It was lovely to have you here and chatting with me towards the end of this game. So I think we're going to wrap it here before stuff starts running out of battery. Oh, great. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I'm going to wrap it here for the day, but thanks again for joining me. And I hope you enjoyed watching Stupor Mundi. So we'll catch you next week. I stream Sundays at 1 o'clock Pacific. That's the usual deal. And if I have to skip on a given week, I tend to announce it on my previous week's stream. So there you go. Thanks again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next Sunday. All right. Take care. See you later.